back to the Meeple Marathon. Today we're going to be taking a look at Circadians First Light. This is the second edition of this game. This game is not terribly old, but I guess S.J. McDonald and Shem Phillips felt like they were ready to come out with Chaos Order, which is like the second game. This is almost similar to the West Kingdom trilogy or the North Sea trilogy, or now soon to be South Seas or something like that. I'm not 100% sure if he's planning on making this into a trilogy or not, but there is this and there's Chaos Order. Chaos Order is a very take that area control combat heavy non-soloable game, so probably not one that we will be seeing on the channel anytime soon. But when they came out with Chaos Order, I guess they decided that they wanted to redo all the artwork and update a few of the rules and iconography and things like that in First Light here. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same game that's been out for a while, and it is a dice worker placement game. So as you can see here, there are asymmetrical leaders, which give your crew asymmetrical powers. But then there's all these boards that are going to allow you to place your worker, or your dice, which are your workers essentially, out into various places to improve your individual farms, systems, and garages, or gain new dice, or trade, or negotiate with some of the alien world factions, things like that. And you can see that there's these screens here, because when you're actually playing multiplayer, you actually will roll out your dice and decide whether you're going to put them out to send out to the shared spaces, or are you going to keep them on your own territory to gain resources. And every die that you roll, the most likely, the higher the number you roll, the more like resources or the cheaper things are going to be, or the better action you can take, things like that. But that's not always the case. There are places for 1s and 2s and 3s, but generally rolling 4, 5s, and 6s is going to be better, at least certainly in the farms area. The higher the number, the more you're producing. That's basically the gist of the game. This has always been a game that I had known about and I had heard people talk about, but was really not that familiar with until I found out it was a Garphill game. That, S.J. McDonald and Shem Phillips were the ones who came up with this game. And after, being so enthralled with the West Kingdom trilogy, and now I'm kind of dipping my toe slowly into the North Sea trilogy, kind of backtracking on that one. But I love Hadrian's Wall. I am all in basically on anything that these guys are doing. So I wanted to definitely check this one out, and especially since it's a newer, updated version. So let's see what they got here. I feel like I need more dice worker placement games in my collection, because it's a mechanic that I really do appreciate. The whole rolling of the dice thing, so it's kind of random how powerful that player is. So yeah, let's just kind of build that up. Alright, so little renegade thing. Here we have the instruction manual. One thing I have noticed about this one, has a very nice insert. We'll see how well it works. This insert reminds me, maybe it's probably just the color of, similar to the Great Western Trail insert. Different company, different games. But powder blue just seems to be in. So decent size rule book here, about 15 to get to. So it's probably about 10 pages worth of rules if you don't include the setup. And then solo has got its own, about 1 page of setup, 2 pages of gameplay, and 1 page of scoring. And then there is contract cards. So this is basically just a reference sheet for your contract cards on the back. Alright, then we have 4 player screens. So these appear to be all identical on the outside, just basically some artwork for you to look at. But what's nice about the inside is that it is your reference sheet. So even though I won't be needing these for a game against the AI, because to my knowledge they won't be able to change their methodology based on what they see me doing. But this may be handy to have like set off in the background so you can just go through all these steps. Oops. All right, so there's 4 player screens. All right, now we've got some of the boards. So these 2 guys are going to be 2 of the factions that you can negotiate with. I'm guessing like alien factions that are already on the planet, something like that. And then these are 4 of the boards which have locations that you can send your worker die out to. So you can go to the market and do some trading. Depending on, you know, where you place your die, this is what you can trade for, and how many times you can do it is the pip number on the die. So maybe you only want to do this trading thing twice. So a 2 would be perfectly fine. If you go here, you're going to be gaining new ships. So when you put dice in your garage, they're going to go out. If you upgrade the garage, I guess the Land Rover, to a ship, it's going to give you additional benefits. Mining camp is going to give you these gems. Gems are really, you know, they can be useful for other things, but these are like, you know, big buku VP scoring at the end of the game. So, and then your laboratory is going to increase your farms. So these upgrade your garages, which send the dice out. These upgrade your farms, which the dice stay in, and you know, resource farming. And each side has a, well, most of them, maybe not all of them, but you can see this one has 3 to 4, 3 to 4, 2 to 4, and on the back side has the opposing things. So this says 1 to 3 on this side. Let's see what's the difference. 3 algae and 10 water. 3 algae and 10 water. So in a 4-player game, 2 people can go here. Okay, I see what they did here. So for example, the laboratory, it doesn't matter what number the die is. They just have to, you have to send 2 dice and they have to equal. So you could send 2 1s. That'd be a great way to get rid of 2 1s. Okay, and like 3 to 4, you have 2 spots, whereas 1 to 2 player, there's only 1 spot. Okay. All right. Then you have this negotiations board here. That's where these guys are going to be slotting into these 3 spaces here. And you're basically going to be locking dice into these locations, spending these resources, gaining these VP, but also when you take one of these actions based on your die number, you'll be able to push over here and take it out of here and put it into this side, gaining this benefit. But if like the number is adding up here, or either equal to or greater than, if you start getting big numbers because you're the 2nd, 3rd, 4th player to play, you're going to get negative benefits. But again, you get to choose. Here you can see some of the ship upgrades, things like that. I don't know what this token is for, but this is the 1st player token. It's a little water canteen. Water is a precious resource similar to an Acrity. So here's more of the ship upgrades. These 3 cards are for the AI bot, and here's some of your farming upgrades that you can get. Here's another, these are 2 more shared boards here. So the academy is a way for you to get more workers, new recruits, basically putting a certain die here, spending X resources, and the more resources you could get 1 or 2 dice. And then here you put a die down, and depending on the number, you're going to send your rover out in a certain direction. And we're going to see the rover here shortly. Here's the 3rd guy you can negotiate with. All right. Then we have what I'm guessing is 4 different AIs. So easy, standard, hard, and insane. And on the back side is going to be the 4 player boards, which are all they all should be the same. So you can see here that you have this many spaces to put in dice to send out, and this many spaces, at least to start, to put in for farming. And then you can add farms here, and you can add things to your hangars here. So instead of taking this little minivan looking thing, you can take a ship. All right, you can see your initial ship here allows you to adjust the die plus or minus one direction or the other. And then down here as you're farming, like the higher the die, if you put a 6 here, you can either gain water or electricity. A 6 would gain you 8 water and only 2 electricity. So if you had a 1 there, you're basically taking water, and it's only going to be 3. So these are your individual player boards. then this is, I'm not sure the name that they call this, but this is where you're sending your rover out to. Feels very Terraforming Mars-esque, but everybody starts in the middle here, and at the end of every phase or round, wherever your rover is, that's what you pick up for resources from your rover. So if you've made it all the way out here, you are going to gain 9 water and 6 algae at the end of your turn, and you can actually wrap around the planet and come out over here. There's also going to be things dropped onto the board. You can see like 1 gem, 3 water there. If you're the first person to reach those, you get those resources for free. But that's what that command control room was. So if you play like a 1, you're going this direction. Whereas if you play a 6, you're going this direction. So you go here, and then if you want to go here, you got to play 4 or something like that. So interesting setup. This is double-sided, and I'm wondering, I'm sure there's a difference. Yeah, I mean, just down here alone. I'm not seeing where the difference is, where it says which one is for which, but I'm sure they tell you somewhere. Anyways, double-sided for player count. All right, then this is the last kind of shared place that you can send workers. So this is the depository. This is another place you're going to place a die, and it's going to be locked. You don't ever get it back. But this is a way for you to fulfill contracts. So you take your contract to the depository, you lock it down, and depending on the die you spend, you can put it in the proper row and gain, said benefit. The last thing here, which is a very unique thing, in my opinion, is the headquarters. So if you basically don't you either want to ensure that you're going first, you at least get the first crack at something in the next round, or you have a die that you don't know what to do with, you can send it to the headquarters here. And these 4 die in this order here are going to activate before player turn order. So if you've placed a die here in the first column, you are guaranteed that this 1 die will get, and it's not going to be re-rolled, but what's nice about this first one is you can flip it over, so a 1 could become a 6. This first die is going to go, and then 3, and then 2. You'll go through this, and then you go to first player and in turn order. So interesting mechanic, and again, this is also double-sided. 4, that's 1 to 3, and there's 4 players in here. This guy is probably only for 3 players. Okay, and now we have found our insert. So we've got a whole bunch of small dice. These are perfectly fine. These feel very much like 1-deck dungeon dice, which I have no problems with, especially when you're rolling a lot of them. Or Monsterlands. This is another. Monsterlands is a great die worker placement game, which uses about the same size dice. That's pretty standard for something that has so many dice. All right, these look like these are going to be the leaders. It's not a whole horribly huge amount of components, which is kind of nice. So I'm not going to go through all of these, but here, like Akira Hope, you may treat 1s, 2s, and 3s as 6s in your farms and at the mining camp. Okay. Bjorgen Sal's value can never be altered, and he cannot be sent to the depository or negotiation board. I'm assuming there's an explanation on him. There's a 3 there, so maybe you always have a 3 die. That's what I'm thinking. Or Dan Guatama, gain 1 additional reward of different type when sending dice to the depository. Let's see here if we can find. Usually, like this may be Sam McDonald, or maybe this is Sam McDonald. Usually they put themselves in the game, which is just kind of fun. So I'm wondering if this is Shem and this is Sam. Let's just read what he does. Anytime you gain a farm tile, also gain 1 ship tile for free. Ooh, these are so amazing. I love it when asymmetrical like leader faction powers are just all so good you don't know what to choose. You may always treat setbacks as if they were positive effects for you. Wow. That's another one that's amazing. That was on that negotiations board. Ignore all algae costs from garages. Okay, I'm I'm going to stop looking through all these. I don't know if those are supposed to go there, but there we go. Then here we have some, what I'm guessing appears to be your contract cards as well as some AI cards. That appears to be it, other than resource components and your little rover thing. All right, what do we got here? Oh, we got some events too, that's right. So these are your contracts. You're gonna have a certain number of these kind of hidden behind your player board, but once you have these number of resources to spend and turn back in, you can go to the depository. Yes, depository, and you're gonna gain this number of VP. You're also going to gain, you know, you can spend 5 less water on this action. I don't exactly know what that action is, but each of these has like unique benefits. Or like if you're going here to this person, you can give them an additional die. I don't know what all this means, but that's how these work. So, you know, fulfilling the contract there. Then you have a set of event cards. So these sit on the headquarters deck, and otherwise you just flip one over, and it's going to change rules slightly for that particular round. Gain 1 additional gem when sending dice to the mining camp. And you always end with this one, reveal all hidden gem caches, and that's the last one. It's always at the bottom. And then these are the AI cards. Do they all say Moontide on them? Yes, it appears they do. So, I know that the AI has something to do with they move their rover every turn based on this, and then they go down, and the first one they can afford to do, they will do. And then, yeah. Haven't quite gotten through all of the AI rules. Anyways, but there's cards for that. These are the rover tokens, which are, you know, certainly not very flamboyant in any way, shape, or form, but they're functional. So they will sit on that board, and the whole purpose is that you can see through them here. So when it's on there, you can see through it, and they can stack. So you can two people can be on the same spot. All right, so there's those. Again, I don't know if they live in there or not, but we'll put them there. And last but not least, we have a whole bunch of wooden tokens in various shapes. So these appear to be just fine. There's big ones and small ones. So here's electricity. These are either 1s and 3s or 1s and 5s. Then you have the crystals. These appear to just be 1s. Probably because they're the rarest resource. These are peggers for the negotiation board. Here is your water resource. Again, 1s and 3s or 1s and 5s. And algae with big and little. Nice wooden components, pretty standard for Garphill Games. I'm wondering, these must be for these, which is really nice that you can pull these out and just set them on the board. We're just going to check, as we always do. Ever since Ryan Lockett stored something underneath his Megaland game for Above and Below, I've been checking every box, underneath everything. There's been a couple other companies. If you've gotten this far through the video, I'd love to hear what your best secret find was under like an insert like this. Mine was finding a card for Above and Below underneath the Megaland Ryan Lockett Red Raven Games' Megaland game, which was like a Target exclusive or something like that when I got it. So anyways, that is going to do it for Circadians First Light. We will be doing a reboxing, I'm sure. This looks pretty standard, but it's not like it's labeled, so we'll make sure you guys know where everything goes, and then we'll do a how to play video, specifically focusing on the solo play, and I'm sure we'll do a playthrough video on the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. And if you want to be notified when more Circadians First Light content makes it onto the channel, please consider hitting that bell icon. Once again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.